Hebrews chapter 4 to 9 and Sabbatismos, still a Sabbath-keeping for God's people. If the Sabbath has been abolished, why does the New Testament say there remains a Sabbath-keeping for the people of God? If Christ is our only rest, why use the Greek word Sabbatismos, a term found nowhere else in the New Testament and meaning literal Sabbath observance? Let's rip the veil off one of the biggest cover-ups in modern Christianity, because the truth has not been erased, only ignored. The scriptural proof. Hebrews 4:9 declares, "There remaineth therefore a rest to the people of God." But the Greek word translated rest here is Sabbatismos, not just katapausis, which means general rest. Sabbatismos means a keeping of the Sabbath, not a symbolic rest or vague spiritual peace. Don't take my word for it. Check Thayer's, BDAG, Lewin-Nida, and Strong's Concordance. They all affirm it refers to the literal observance of the Sabbath day, the theological trap. So why do modern pastors, priests, and scholars twist the text? Because if the Sabbath still stands, then Sunday worship as a replacement collapses. If Sabbatismos remains for the people of God, then the fourth commandment hasn't been nailed to the cross. It stands as binding today as when God thundered it from Sinai. Ask yourself this: why would Paul, decades after the resurrection, use the present tense, there remains? Why didn't he say it remained or used to remain? Because the weekly Sabbath still exists under the new covenant, not as a Jewish shadow, but as a divine memorial of creation and redemption. The creation connection. Hebrews chapter 4 doesn't begin with Calvary. It begins with creation. Verse 4, "For he has spoken in a certain place of the seventh day on this wise, and God did rest the seventh day from all his works." Did you catch that? The author connects our future hope with God's past rest, the very seventh-day Sabbath. This isn't about vague inner peace. It's about entering into his day, his divine appointment. And that appointment still stands. Hebrews 4:9 proves it. Destroying the spiritual rest argument. Many will cry, "But Christ is our Sabbath." Yes, Christ offers rest for the soul. But does that abolish God's command to rest on the seventh day? Christ is also our Passover, 1 Corinthians 5-7. Did that abolish the meaning of the cross? No. Spiritual realities fulfill, not erase, the physical expressions of God's law. By that logic, honoring parents would be symbolic too, so why not dishonor them in the name of spiritual maturity? God's law is not fragmented, it is eternal. And the Sabbath command is not ceremonial. It's one of the 10, the final verdict. Here's the bottom line, skeptics. If Sabbatismos is real, and it is, then Sabbath-keeping is still required for God's people. Not as a means of salvation, but as the sign of the covenant. Ezekiel 20:12, Hebron 8:10. Hebrews 4:9 is not a poetic phrase. It's a legal declaration, upheld by the very language of heaven. It affirms what Isaiah foresaw: "All flesh shall come to worship before me, saith the Lord." Isaiah 66:23. In Eden, on Sinai, in Hebrews, and in eternity, God's Sabbath never changed. Challenge. So, pastors, show me the verse that says Sabbatismos has been abolished. Imams, if you say Sabbath was only for Jews, why does your Quran affirm it in Surah 16:124? Priests, if Sunday replaced the Sabbath, why is there no verse commanding the switch? And skeptics, if you say this is legalism, then why does Jesus call himself Lord of the Sabbath in Mark 2:28? You have no answer because Hebrews already gave it. There remains a Sabbath-keeping for the people of God.